Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's vlog, I found something from, the shots, YouTube shots. I know I've done quite a few on here, and I know obviously this is YouTube, but I found something that you probably would have done if you were in primary school in England. So this vlog's going to be if you were in primary school in the UK. So without further ado, let's get this started and show on the road. Sorry, that was the music for it. So if you get close, I'm sure if I make it closer and closer, so watch later, it has toys, and it says prove you went to primary school in Britain. Hope you can see the writing right. So you prove you went, so it's the classroom, chairs, pens, paper. This is what pretty much primary school classrooms do look like. So them chairs there, they were more like, I only really had chairs like that. I think it was in year 6. And then what there was like chairs which had like the little circle. I think, well, speaking of them, I think there's one just at the back there. Hopefully if you can see clear enough. It says proof you went to a British primary. Clear. Storage, do you remember the trays? I think normally trays were on our desk. I think it was in year 4, I think we had trays on, in things like that. Had to remember not to overfill them. But I think for the years we had it in like our desks. Normally we all overfilled them with, but especially when we got towards junior school, with stuff that we shouldn't use. But yeah, I love those trays. Assembly, well, we only really used those for class assemblies where we were sat on bench hooks and that. I think normally we were sat on like floor, which was cold. Well, knowing how tall and how big I am now, I wouldn't probably fit on the floor, but yeah, it was actually alright at the time. It was actually quite fun. Yeah, getting together in the morning, sitting on the floor in assembly. Benches were really used. I think we used those benches more or less for class assemblies, or yeah, normally in class when we were just doing class assemblies, or even sometimes in PE, Joe, and you had like stuff like the apparatus out and all that lot. Yeah, sometimes, well, I think if we were year 6, we'd set it up because normally the infants would do the apparatus and that. It was with all the wooden bench things like the pulling it and the holding it together and that. I think this sometimes was used as like a little, little like slide thing and all that lot, or even just a climbing thing. But things might have changed in primary school. Obviously, I think there's some things that happened back then you probably wouldn't get away with now, but society's changed and times do move on. Oh, now the pens are. I think I was first introduced to pens like this. I think I only really started doing. I think I was more confident doing pens more or less. I think it had been about year 5 time. Yeah, remember the pens? Yeah. I only felt confident in writing in then. I think before that it was the felt tip. Yeah, I think with felt tips doing like a little cover thing, and you had to put them back. There was like one that was very pointy and one that was very thick or something. And you always have to be saying, don't be careful not to go over in felt tip because it'll end up things will end up going apart. The toys, the robot. I think of the robot thing. I think it was like you had to press it something in it, and either go left, right. It literally do what you told and go. It's a bit like the version of like a charger, the phone chargers and iPad chargers and all that of now, but these were so fun. Fun to play, yeah. I don't know if they're still going, but again, it could have we might not be able to do stuff like that. But you had to keep careful not to break it and stuff like that. I don't know how they probably have been broken probably since then, because they probably got used a lot. Even when you got to juniors, that was something fun to do. So it reminds me of the Colin the Caterpillars, all the caterpillars that you get from M&S or Marks and Sparks or Marks and Spencers and all that lot. But it was fun. I remember these chairs. Yeah, I do remember sitting on these chairs. Sometimes you used to like rock on them and go backwards on them. Your teacher said you'll end up in hospital or in A&E, or even cracking your head open and that if that actually carries on. But they were fun, and in assembly the teacher used to sit on the chairs on the side, and I think the only way you'd get away with it is if you had like crutches or had an operation and that, but with that you had to sit on the famous floor counting the cubes, or used to be able to make them with like big stacked towers and all that lot, like different colours and that. Sometimes you kind of would mix them up, but they're great memories. PE, do you remember the cones? You either did it whether you were doing outdoor PE or indoor PE, and I think sometimes you'd have like coaches from like local areas to come and do your session, and they were actually quite fun. Or even when you were doing like rounders and cricket and stuff like that, always had to be at the cones, but sometimes you dawdled and chatted to your mates and all that lot, and sometimes you kind of would miss the ball, but that was the beauty and the fun of it. Yeah, but primary school, absolutely amazing, and I absolutely, when I look back on it now, I've got so many good, fond and special memories and special times of it, so really good. So as always guys, like the video guys, don't forget to click the link below, subscribe to the channel, follow me on all my social media channels. Back in soon for another fun filled packed YouTube video.